If you think about work in general, if you think about what men have to do when they go to work now, it's essentially just a bunch of landmines, right? Once upon a time, it was a man's world. Yes, I agree. And by
What the fuck? A bunch of landmines? Okay, so you're unironically victim blaming right now. You're acting like it's the problem of women that they are being distracting and that it's now like a landmine everywhere because men are creepy. This is, I hate to sound like a bedroom feminist where they're like, teach men not to rape. But seriously, why don't you ever have this conversation with men? Why is it like, it's just a given that men are brainless Neanderthals, you know? But women, make sure you're not showing any ankles. Now that we have covered Sneeko talking very poorly about women, let's listen to somebody else talk very poorly about women, you know? The hatred of women doesn't stop here, okay? Candace Owens has decided to drop in to let us all know why women in the workplace is actually not a good thing because they're distracting. That's right. Apparently us cavemen, Neanderthal, drooling men are unable to do our work because there's a pretty girl by the fucking copier. I must sexually harass her.
Then, of course, I thought to myself, women in the workplace. What about that one? Are we a distraction? Do you guys think we're a distraction?
Doesn't matter if we think you're a distraction. That is actually completely irrelevant. It's not about whether or not we find you to be distracting. Now, I think that you're distracting. Not because of your appearance or anything, but mainly because of how fucking stupid you are, and I can smell the stench of desperation through my computer screen. So yes, that would be a little distracting, but whether or not men find women in the workplace distracting is aside the point. This is on men not being creepy perverts. This isn't on women to not be distracting, okay? Newsflash. Women are assaulted and treated poorly regardless of how they are dressing, how they are behaving. It doesn't matter, okay? It's sad, but it's the fact of the matter that whether a woman is wearing a fucking bikini or completely covering herself up in a turtleneck, a pervert guy is going to be perverted towards her regardless. It doesn't matter.
And the more I thought about it, I thought, yeah, we kind of are a distraction. If you think about work in general, if you think about what men have to do when they go to work now, it's essentially just a bunch of landmines, right? Once upon a time, it was a man's world. Yes, I agree. And by
What the fuck? A bunch of landmines? Okay, so you're unironically victim blaming right now. You're acting like it's the problem of women that they are being distracting and that it's now like a landmine everywhere because men are creepy. This is, I hate to sound like a bedroom feminist where they're like, teach men not to rape. But seriously, why don't you ever have this conversation with men? Why is it like, it's just a given that men are brainless Neanderthals, you know? But women, make sure you're not showing any ankles. Don't be flashing your elbow, okay? You keep your weenus in your pants, or in your sleeve, more like it. Don't be distracting. That's why sexual harassment occurs. God damn those women and their fucking being distracting by doing their job quietly, minding their own business. Ugh.
I want to make it clear, I am not making an argument that women should not have the right to work and should be relegated to the household. I'm not saying that whatsoever, but I am acknowledging.
I love that too, by the way. Are women distracting? Yeah. We're basically a landmine everywhere. You know, it used to be for men to work, but I'm not saying that women shouldn't be in the workforce or anything. All of these people are spineless cowards.
That things have gotten worse at work since women joined. Since women joined the workforce, I think that men are having to deal with all these landmines everywhere. Do I say something? Do I not?
I genuinely cannot understand how somebody who is not mentally deficient with an IQ below room temperature could ever think that this is even a good argument or even coherent. You actually have to be fucking deranged. Now men need to deal with all this? What about women who are trying to provide for their families and who now need to deal with men being creepy and harassing them? Has that ever occurred to you, Candace? Or is it just on the women to to not be distracting. I can't fathom being this brain dead.
I say something, I have to be careful on how I speak to this person because she's a woman. She might see this as some sort of an assault. Oh, do I tell her she looks nice today, or is she going to think that that's inappropriate? Is it appropriate, especially in the post-Me Too?
How is this the problem of women? This is a problem for men to deal with, Candace. You're literally saying because men are afraid of women that what? She's going to accuse him of sexual assault because he said, "Hi, how are you doing today?" What are you talking about right now? Who gave you a fucking microphone? Somebody get this dumb cunt off the air.
Era, forget it. Do I say anything to her? Well, if I don't say anything to her, well, she's going to say that I'm ignoring her because I'm a man. If I say something to her, she's going to say I'm only speaking to her because I'm a man. I mean,
Yep, I love it. I love the straw man. Yep, that's how it is. Ever since that movement that pointed out literal systemic issues with how women were treated in Hollywood, now Steve just wants to ask Brenda to please move over because he needs to get to the copier and he's too afraid. What if he says, "Hey, Brenda, can you please move?" And she interprets that as meaning, "Hey, Brenda, can you please move on my dick right now?" And then she accused him of sexual harassment and then he gets fired from his job and then he goes homeless and his whole family starves to death. Goddamn women, It's just so funny. Teach men how to talk to women. Don't be creepy when you're talking to women. Treat them like human beings. And you should be okay. There's an HR department in most major companies for a reason, okay? If some woman's going to falsely accuse you of harassment because you said hi, odds are HR is going to work that out for you.
I couldn't even imagine the internal dialogue that men must be having at work at all times. And I laugh because this year, the Daily Wire...
How is she doing? Literally, how is this... Think of the men. What about the women after the Me Too movement? What about the women who've experienced systemic sexual harassment and degradation throughout their careers? What do you think the internal dialogue going through the woman's mind is when she's in an environment where it's now been demonstrated to have a much higher likelihood of there being sexual harassment or assault involved? What? How do you look at this situation and say, think of the men? Think of the poor men. Oh.
I found out that the Christmas party was dry. And immediately in my head, I didn't say this out loud, but I'm saying it out loud now, I thought to myself, why is it a dry party? Who ruined it? Right? Who ruined it? Why is there a dry Christmas party? Everybody knows Christmas parties are not supposed to be dry. Supposed to have a great time with all of your colleagues. Everyone gets ridiculously drunk, and it's the one time a year that you can do that. All of your work all year, and then you look forward to the holiday season so that you and all of the office employees and office colleagues can get drunk. But no, now, similar to Daily Wire, a bunch of corporations are saying, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Well, why are they saying let's not do that? I don't know for sure, but probably because they're avoiding traps, right?
How do you blame women for this? If you can't get drunk at a Christmas party because it's too risky that one of the men might become creepy and start harassing and or assaulting a woman there, that is the fault of the man, Candace. It's not the fault of the woman, okay? It's the fault of the man. This is literally like saying, why can't we drive drunk anymore, guys? God damn it, this used to be a free society. Now all of a sudden we're living in communist Russia, can't even drive drunk. All because those stupid pedestrians are walking across the street. Maybe if the pedestrians weren't there, we could drive drunk. No, boo. If you're driving your car drunk and you smash into somebody, that's your fault. It's not the fault of the person crossing the street. If you're at a Christmas party and you're getting tipsy and some guy starts being creepy, that is the fault of the guy. This isn't the fault of, well, a woman's there and she looked kind of hot. Did anybody think about this? How are you simultaneously talking about traditional values and everything else, but then you simultaneously seem to believe that men are just these unhinged cavemen? You're unironically making the "what was she wearing" argument right now. If you can't stop yourself from being a rapey fuck when you get drunk, then don't get drunk. That's on the man, Candace, to not be creepy. And by the way, what's next? What if a guy there is gay? So now it's all men, okay? It's the man's world. What if one guy gets drunk and he's gay and he makes a move on one of his colleagues? Should we just separate people if they find them attractive at all? Should it be like, listen, Steve, this is going to be your new secretary. Okay, this is Brenda. Take a look. Do you think she's hot? Rate her on a scale of 1 to 10. Anytime somebody gets a rating over the rating of 5, we're going into hot territory. So they just get transferred into a different office. Is that it now? No, you're no longer able to work with anybody who might be even remotely attractive to you? The point is that people should be able to control their behavior, and men have a responsibility to not be creepy fucks around women whether they're drunk or not. Lastly, Candace, I don't know why you're complaining about not getting drunk. You're clearly drunk right now because only a drunk fucking turd could ever make an argument this abysmally stupid in 2023 in current year. This is so embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you. Secondhand embarrassment is hitting me right now everywhere. I sincerely hate Candace Owens. She is a horrible subhuman piece of garbage. And the fact that she has a voice and an audience is the most disturbing fact. The fact that her and Sneeko and these other fucking cunts actually have any ounce of popularity or credibility among the right is concerning, humiliating, and it should be an embarrassment for all of America. Hate is a strong word. Good. Perfect. Yes, let it be a strong word. I hate Candace Owens. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. I fucking despise her. And it makes me nauseous knowing that I have to share oxygen with this dumb bitch. Is that strong enough for you, pal? Fuck her. Men, don't be creepy. It's not on women to, what, not look too good because then the creepy man might get tempted. It's bizarre, this mindset. Especially once you realize that rape and assault is usually an act of power. It's not an act of attraction. Now, of course, you're sexually assaulting somebody, so there's probably some form of attraction there involved, but it's not like you're just so attracted to this person you feel compelled to start raping them. That's not how it works. It's literally that you want to take advantage of power. You're attracted to having complete power and control over another human being. That is what motivates that crime. This is why women, whether or not they are dressing inappropriately, are at relatively similar risks of assault. Because at the end of the day, the assault is not occurring because some woman looked too pretty. It's occurring because some sick fuck wants to take advantage of having control over another person. A lot of the times, it's women who are specifically reserved, try to stay out of the limelight, don't dress very inappropriately, do cover themselves up, that are actually perceived as more vulnerable and are at even higher risk because it's a crime of power. It is not initially a crime of attraction.